Hello everyone, I'm Sandy Franks and this is Taipan Financial News. All the buzz on Wall Street and in the media this week is about commodities. We've reached the top, they say. In fact, in USA Today, they ran an article and it said the once red-hot commodities are now ice cold. But you know as well as I do, you can't believe everything that comes out of Wall Street or what you hear in the media. So today we're going to find out if the profit party in commodities is over. Joining me is Todd Schoenberger, editor of Diligent Investor. Now, Todd, let's talk about this commodities bubble, particularly oil. Where are we? Do you think we've reached the top?
No, we have not reached the top. We are seeing an oversold pattern in oil right now. As a matter of fact, the price for a barrel of crude at the New York Merc is selling for $15 off its high. But if anything, that's creating a great buying opportunity during this oversold trend.
But if the price is down, doesn't that sort of go along with what everybody is saying on Wall Street, that the commodities market is over?
No, it's not over. It's actually just basic supply and demand economics. Right now, though, you always have the global demand for oil because we don't have an alternative fuel source. We have no other means for it. So we need oil. We need that.
But Todd, alternative fuel sources aren't we kicking into high gear here and we're going to start developing more reliable alternative fuels?
Well, I hope we do, but right now the current alternative fuels that are on the market are not a viable solution. As a matter of fact,
why is that?
Because they cannot be transported because of the chemical makeup of a alternative fuel like ethanol. You cannot transport that via pipelines. You actually have to put it on a tanker truck or maybe even a railroad or a train to get it out to maybe the east and west coast. And what that does is it increases your overhead costs, which then are passed on to the consumer. And right now, that's just not a viable option because drivers know that you need better gas. The performance of your automobile does better with regular petroleum than it would ever do with ethanol. And until an alternative fuel source that works just like petroleum is created, right now oil will always remain king.
Okay, so oil's king. Now how does that play out in the India and China market?
Well, you think of India and China as maybe former underdeveloped countries. Now they're economic superpowers. China, for instance, has a gross domestic product of 11%. In Shanghai alone, it's 13%. And because of that building middle class and all of that money that everyone has, they're buying automobiles. They want to transport. They want to live like the Western Hemisphere. Well, what is happening now, they demand the fuel. They are demanding oil. The entire world requires 84 million barrels a day just to survive. Right now, humans are only pumping out 85 million barrels a day. Eventually, those numbers will crisscross, and then you'll really see the spike in prices for oil.
Is their demand for oil going to outpace us in the U.S.?
Well, it could. It very well could. But right now, no. Because when you look from now, probably for the next 10, 15 years, the U.S. actually requires 25% of the entire world's supply of oil. But that could change, but probably not for at least a decade.
So if oil is down now, you're suggesting it's going to go back up. But tell me what's going to spike the oil prices.
Well, all kinds of reasons can cause this price for oil to go back up. I mean, right now the sell-off is mainly because we don't have a lot of bullish news out there. You have a very benign hurricane season, and there hasn't been a lot of big headlines coming out of the Middle East or even North Korea.
But Todd, let me just stop you for a minute. All of the meteorologists suggest that we probably aren't going to have much more hurricanes. I mean, in fact, they downgraded the number of hurricanes that they expect the U.S. to have. So how does that, I mean, what does that do?
Well, you're absolutely correct there, Sandy. And as a matter of fact, we wrote a commentary about this on the Diligent Investor, that we feel that now with the hurricanes, they're probably non-existent now. We're coming to the tail end of the season.
Right, so that probably won't spike oil, though.
Absolutely correct. And as a matter of fact, now you have a lot of the vacationers, or when nobody's taking a drive anymore because kids are back to school. So as a result, there isn't a clear-cut demand in this country for fuel. You are actually seeing a price for a gallon of unleaded gas drop significantly as well. But what's going to end up happening is now we're coming into the winter months. You will begin to see the December contract trading at the New York Merc in about a week, and as a result, that will be the increase in the price for a barrel of crude. And because of that demand, that is the reason why you want to invest in oil now. Take advantage of the sell-off because you're going to be happy in a few months from now.
So you're recommending that investors stay invested invested in oil.
Without a doubt, Sandy, you want to stay with oil. This is a great commodity. The demand for oil will never end, and it's only going to grow. And when you look at basic supply and demand economics, that's the reason why you want to invest in oil and hold on to your positions right now.
That's great information, Todd. thank you. We're going to start running out of time here, and I appreciate everything that you've talked to us about. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.